Hey everybody, we are, quick show note, we are pausing the Record of Lotus Let's Play only because we're running into a bunch of technical issues with new equipment and old equipment.
Yeah. My new laptop's awesome, except it doesn't like the Elgato very much.
Yeah, it will eventually come back. Good news is when I erased save files on my Sega CD internal memory to make room for that save file, it had a save file from Sonic CD from 1994. So
it's still good.
The good news is it will still probably be there.
Probably.
And if not, we'll tell you. So today, what we're going to talk about is E3.
Yeah, the leftovers of E3.
Leftovers, how we feel about the whole show.
Now that it's all happened, because there was stuff that everybody talked about after the show.
Yeah, there was stuff that as the show went on,
came out
and stuff like. Sony announced more games. Nintendo announced a buttload more games. Microsoft didn't.
But they had shit to show though.
Yeah, there was stuff at the show that was cool for Microsoft. The Kinect was a much bigger part of E3 than it was of
their press conference. Yeah, they didn't show a whole. They didn't even talk about it in the press conference. Nothing at all. Right?
Well, they mentioned Disney Fantasia.
That poor guy came out and he was like, "Oh," and then John T. Drake left Harmonix? His last day at Harmonix was last week or 2 weeks ago? Yeah. So I was like, well, there goes one of their... I guess, I don't know if he's a PR guy or what he is. But I know he's a big thing at Giant Bomb. They had this whole joke at PAX a couple years ago. So, so the leftovers of E3. There was a lot of stuff that we didn't even talk about that was in the things.
We forgot Mortal Kombat.
We did forget about Mortal Kombat.
Which
X or 10?
It's X.
It's X. Okay.
I mean, it's the 10th Mortal Kombat.
It's 10, but it's also X.
Ed Boon has said it is X, so it's X.
Okay.
Which I don't care about Mortal Kombat. I've never really cared about Mortal Kombat. I've always been more of a Street Fighter kid. Having said that, I did get Mortal Kombat 9, the reboot, on my Vita.
Because it was cheap. It was on sale 1 week, right?
Yeah, it was on sale. Yeah. I think I got it for $10.
That's about right.
And it's the cartridge version.
So you actually have a physical copy, not just the...
Yeah,
okay.
And what they do with that story mode, the best part of that game.
Yeah, which is weird to say about a fighting game.
Yeah, I don't like the mechanics of the fighting. I've never liked fatalities. I always thought they were dumb. Basically, everything that makes Mortal Kombat, I thought was stupid. But this story mode, wallows in Mortal Kombat stupidness, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and hopefully they do something
between the different characters. I mean, I actually kind of want to buy Injustice now because people have said Injustice has a similar story mode. I really wish there would be a Street Fighter mode like that. I think it would be really fun.
Just to kind of and it served a great purpose of teaching you how to play all the characters.
All the different characters, yeah. That was genius.
And hopefully they do that with the new one when it comes out next year-ish, right? Is it out this year?
2015, I think.
It's out next year. Okay.
Yeah, I think
I didn't think it was coming out this year.
They normally launch Mortal Kombat in spring, so I'm betting.
So that people have time to get good at it before Evo.
Yeah. Well, the same thing with Street Fighter. Street Fighters normally launch in spring.
Although Ultra's
early winter or late winter.
Is Ultra out? Ultra's out.
Ultra's out now.
Okay.
And then the retail copy will be in August. I will probably be buying the retail copy just because.
You like having boxes.
I like having boxes. It's evidenced by my office.
Because you have drawers and shelves
surrounded by boxes.
And consoles and all kinds of fun stuff. Let's see. Who else showed some awesome stuff that we didn't know was there?
A lot of the indie games for Vita were actually playable on the floor.
Yeah.
Axion Verge.
Mm-hmm.
The one that is kind of a Terraria meets Metroid meets Contra.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? It's basically Metroid, but with Contra weapons and deformable terrain like Terraria.
Is it randomly or procedurally generated as well?
I don't think so.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So you can if you can't figure out how to get through a door,
just blow up the wall around it.
Yeah, you can just run through the wall, blow up the wall around it. Which is a funny story. Reggie Fils-Aimé from Nintendo was touring the Sony booth, as they always do.
Everybody goes through everybody else's booth just to kind of see what's going on.
And apparently the guy that made Axiom Verge was the dude manning the little demo station.
Yeah.
And
because he's an indie guy, right? So.
Yeah. Apparently Reggie looked at it and was like, seems like a new Metroid. And apparently one of the guys from the Nintendo Age podcast was with Reggie, and he goes, well, if you're not going to make one, somebody
else has to.
Someone should.
Yeah.
Which, if you remember back when we did our Super Nintendo best of list, we're both huge Super Metroid fans.
Yeah, Metroid was a great franchise, and I'm sad that we haven't seen a new
I'm
classic Metroid.
Yeah,
now, the first person Metroids
I'm a big fan of Metroid Prime. I really like it, but like for me, Metroid ends and begins with Super Metroid. Like even though Metroid Fusion's really good and First Mission is really good, and Metroid Prime once again, all three of them are very good.
Mm-hmm.
Super Metroid is like go down in history as like one of the best games ever.
Yeah, and there's a reason why there's an entire genre of games called the Metroidvania.
Yes.
Because you have the first half Metroid.
I just figured out, our first place Sony game and our first place Super Nintendo, first place PlayStation 1 game and our first place Super Nintendo game were both Metroidvania.
Yeah,
and
but that's fine. There's
like,
nothing wrong with that. Those kinds of games are fun. Like the exploration in those games is part of figuring. Is part of the enjoyability of those games.
Yes.
Enjoyment. Of
and going through this week, I've been playing Terraria on my Vita.
How is that? Because I've downloaded it, but I haven't played it.
It's fun. The thing I don't like about it fixes the two things I don't like about Minecraft, and that is Minecraft. It's complicated to build for me to build 3D things that I like. Like I always kind of build it in Minecraft, and I go back later. I'm like, I don't like that. I tear it apart and rebuild it.
Yeah. And
then I kind of like it, but then I tear it apart and rebuild it.
Well, I mean that's kind of the essence of Minecraft.
Yes.
You can tear it down, build it up.
And when the creepers come,
that's why you build pits around everything,
yeah.
And then they run into the pit.
Yeah.
And keep shade away because they like shade.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's entire guides online on how to make creeper farmers. Why do you do that?
So we stop looking at the monitor because we're looking down. We should look at the camera.
Okay, well, whatever.
Anyway,
there are guides on how to make creeper farms, and I think it has to do with making shade and then a pit, and then they die, and then you go down there and collect all the stuff.
Oh, well,
I think. I don't know. I've not.
Anyway, Terraria fixes. So the thing I don't like about the building stuff is really the 3D forms.
Mm-hmm.
So Terraria is just 2D.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to go, okay, here's what a tower should look like in 2D.
And then you just build it with your stairs and ladders and stuff.
Yeah, and then build around and then put the back, because it has...
You have to, in order to make it inside your house, you have to put a back panel.
Yeah, there are bricks and walls.
Yeah.
So you have to do the bricks and then you do the walls. And I'm like, it's very easy for me to build, in my mind,
a 2D structure.
Yeah. And then the other thing is the enemy variety.
There
are tons of enemies.
Okay. Because I just haven't gotten
super bosses. Which I made a mistake of
finding a super boss and going, oh hey, I'm going to take you out.
The Mind of Cthulhu, you have to summon it, and I accidentally summoned it by killing these random things that I thought. Like I killed one thing, and it was like, oh, it gave me a cool weapon, so I'll go kill these other things and get a cool weapon. And once you kill them all, it wakes up the Mind of Cthulhu.
And then it comes and kicks your ass.
Dead.
And then it comes and kills you.
Yes. So it's really fun that way. But once again, it's like Minecraft and other procedurally generated things. I'm getting to the point now where like the edges of the you can do anything concept are showing. Like I wanted to flood the underground passages and drain the sea.
Yeah.
But the water just keeps spawning in the sea.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well, and you have that problem with Minecraft as well. There's water tiles and it just keeps spawning water.
Yeah.
You can take a bucket and then dump it on top of a pillar and then you have a fountain.
Yeah. Well, this isn't quite like that,
but it's similar to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
so
along that line.
Although you can dig all the, I want to. My mission will be I will stop playing this game when I dig all the way down because you can get to the base,
the bedrock or whatever.
Yeah, and at the moment I'm in the underworld, and I figured out you can kind of build camps by putting a little wall around you and then a campfire in it, so you can heal yourself, and most of the enemies can't get to you.
They won't come after you.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
It's cool. So yes, but having played Terraria, the one thing I would like is a story mode and more shootable weapons.
Oh, because it's a 2D thing, and you don't want to have to jump up on the monsters in order to kill them.
Yes.
You'd rather shoot them from afar.
Yes.
Which
this Axiom Verge has me excited.
Yeah. Well, and along the lines
of PS4 and Vita.
Yeah, and I'm super excited about No Man's Sky, which I think everybody and their brother who's looked at this game is
gone,
how are they doing this with 10 people or 5 people? And that game is just so. Everything we've seen about it is so pretty. Mm-hmm. And the fact that almost everything is procedurally generated, the worlds I think you can build your own ship or whatever, but it just seems like it's such a great looking game, and it's such an awesome premise of we don't know what's out there. Help us figure this out.
Yes.
I mean, they have some general idea, but obviously they don't know because none of it's been created yet.
The thing I really liked is when they were talking about multiplayer on. That was another thing they did at E3 that I imagine Microsoft did it, but I didn't watch any of Microsoft's coverage. But Sony and Nintendo both had these in the booth demonstrations that were like went out on Twitch, went out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which was really fun. So the one for No Man's Sky, he was talking about, well, can we play multiplayer? And the guy was like, well, you're technically always playing multiplayer, but the odds of you bumping into someone else are so minute that, like, he's like, you picture the Earth.
Yeah.
And then, even if we get 1 million people to play the game.
Everybody has their own little planet they started on.
Well, no, he was like, even if we get 1 million people to play the game, which would make it hugely successful, and everyone goes to one planet. They're all the size of, like, some planets are the size of the Earth, so picture the Earth with only 1 million people on it.
Yeah,
like it would be horribly spread out.
Yeah. So, but it would be cool, like if you think about it, like if like, that happened,
like if you and I are friends, like you can jump into my game and just spawn wherever I am.
Yeah, and then we'll just fly around and discover crap, go through caves and stuff. But I mean, that would be kind of cool.
Like be my co-pilot.
Okay, I'll be
you can be my goose.
Okay, but I mean, like in that scenario where like if everybody goes to one planet and there's 1 million people on the planet, it would be really neat to kind of see like everybody maybe try to congregate, like everybody just kind of
or like designate one planet as like the galactic core.
This is the home world. This is where everybody goes. And I don't know if you can trade, if there's any of that stuff in that game, but I think that would be really neat.
Really
and
cool.
I think that's something, like a game like that is super open-ended, and I think it's just going to be one of those games that you just fall into and never get out of.
Yes. So another game that showed up that I think Dave will really like is Lords of the Fallen.
I heard about that. Yeah, it's like
it's like if Dark Souls was made by a European RPG developer.
Yeah.
So these are the European.
I was trying to remember the name of that, and we talk about it, and you brought it up for me.
Lords of the Fallen. The minute I saw that, I was like, "This has Dave written all over."
Well, yeah, and
because I looked at it, I was like, "Man, I want more sun in my games."
Yeah, it's too dark in Dark Souls.
Like, can you guys like maybe spawn in like a cute little Goomba?
Yeah.
Like,
can I get a glowing mushroom, or
can I get a skin that makes me look like Hatsune Miku?
Something.
Like, can we get more?
But yeah, I mean, what I saw that game, and I only saw like a little 2-minute video. I was like looking at stuff when I wasn't supposed to be at work. I was supposed to be working, but
I think that's everybody.
I think that's everybody during E3, and right now during the World Cup.
Yeah,
also.
especially now that they have all this Twitch stuff. We're just like.
I have a Twitch stream running behind all the crap I'm doing.
Yes, at my work we have a receiver dedicated to the World Cup matches.
Well, that's fine, except now you need 2 of them.
Yes.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Soccer.
Lords of the Fallen.
Real sports. Yeah, Lords of the Fallen looks really cool. Like it's the footage they were showing. They said was like pre-alpha footage, right?
Well, but it's coming out this year.
Yeah, so it's probably not pre-alpha. It's probably early beta.
I think I think a lot of people are just saying that to like temper expectations.
Yeah, it's like okay,
that's the new. We're not done with this yet.
Yeah, work in progress, not representative of final product. But it looks really cool. And what they showed, while they were saying, I guess the segment that was in the game was only about. It was designed to be like a 40-minute segment, but they were giving prizes away for people who beat it because there's like some awesome boss at the end, and you're only given 30 minutes to beat it.
Yeah.
So like people who either played all the way through it once and then waited in line to play it again, just so they're like, okay, I can pass all this crap and go straight to the boss at the end. I think that's kind of a neat way for them to do it, which I understand you have to like limit the amount of time people can play games because you can't just sit there for 9 hours playing a game at E3.
Yeah, that's what they said. I think the PlayStation Now demos were limited to 5 minutes, and I was like, 5 minutes? I wait in line for 5 minutes?
That's something else that's recently come out, but it's not related to E3.
So let's see what else. So they had. Project Steam from Nintendo was something I got excited about because once again, color.
Yeah, color. It's like, oh god, everything's not black and gray.
It's
and
a super
brown.
Weird steampunk, late 1800s, but it has the look of like a mid 60s or 70s comic.
Yeah,
with like the bad dot printing.
But I mean, is it? Were they showing actual gameplay, or were they just showing like pre-rendered?
They showed actual gameplay.
Okay, because I really hadn't looked at it much.
It was Intelligent Systems, which Intelligent Systems made Advance Wars and Fire Emblem, which are 2 of my favorite series.
Yeah.
And this just basically looks like Advance Wars Steampunk Edition.
Huh. That sounds good.
For the 3DS, so I think that's good for 3DS players.
Yeah, maybe bring that out on a system that needs the help.
Wii U.
Yeah.
What else did they announce? They showed off the Star Fox for the Wii U.
They showed that. They kind of actually showed that instead of the blurry screen.
They actually showed that to the blurry screen.
I missed that.
But it's weird because it's not a full game yet, and it's kind of one of Shigeru Miyamoto's
pet project things.
Basically, it's a tech demo to show how they're using the gamepad plus the screen.
Well, that seems kind of dumb.
Why
can't we just have?
I believe it's the person with the gamepad flies, and then there's another person with a Wiimote on the screen shooting.
What if you're just playing by yourself?
I imagine there's a single player version of it, but it was, once again, it's a tech demo to show how you can do things on the screen, the asymmetrical multiplayer. The thing that, remember when the Wii U came out, we were all that was the buzzword, asymmetrical multiplayer.
Yeah, where you had
we had that weird patch for Little Big Planet 2 with the Vita.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I could be holding my Vita up to the screen because I couldn't.
Because you had to do the X-ray thing.
Yeah, the X-ray thing, but my TV's all the way across the room, so I'm up next to the screen, why am I not X-raying the right part? How is this working? Very weird.
Yeah, so finding out that that's just a tech demo thing, that kind of bums me out. Showing off,
and they announced that they have a 2D Metroid and a 3D Metroid in the design phase, which is...
That's all well and good.
But it's one of those things, I feel when they say that...
I mean, I guess they do have a new Zelda. They have a new Zelda game coming out this year. They have a new Zelda game coming out...
Wait, this year?
Yeah, I think that Dynasty Warriors ripoff is coming
out
this year.
It's
not a Zelda.
To me, that's not a Zelda game.
It's a Zelda-like game.
A game with Zelda in it.
And then they have Smash Bros. And they just had Mario Kart. So they've had 3 titles. They have 3 titles coming out this year, and adding a 4th I think might be a bit much. But
but I think this will devolve into another Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, that'll totally be what that.
But the real problem that this E3 kind of showed was that third-party support for the Wii U is not there. So that no matter how many great games Nintendo brings out, even though they did bring out Mario Kart 8, which is very good, they're bringing out Smash Brothers at the end of the year, which will probably be very good.
They're bringing it out now-ish on the 3DS, and they're bringing it out.
No, the 3DS got pushed back to October.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought it was still coming out in July.
Hidden announcements. It had to be pushed back. So anyway, but no matter what happens, you're always going to have... It's going to feel like there are no games because there are no games coming out. I think they said between the end of the year, they looked at the release calendar on IGN and it was probably 10 titles between now and the end of the year. Or maybe 15 or 20.
Yeah.
And that might not be the end of the year. That might have only been through November, now that I think about it.
But still, that's pretty much the end of the year.
People talk about, that was one of the other big things that came out during an interview, Shuhei Yoshida.
Mm-hmm. Rohei Broshita.
Someone basically asked him, where's the first-party games for the Vita? Because they talked about the Vita, but they didn't talk about the Vita a lot.
No, they just mentioned it.
There was a lot of Vita games.
And they said there was 100 games in development, right, or something like that in their presser.
There was a ton of games in their booth, but basically Shuei Yoshida said, that's where indie and third-party come in really well because they can fill in those gaps. And with the PS4, he's like, we're going to be focusing more on the PS4 because it is the new platform.
Yeah, well, that makes sense for them.
But what everyone read that as Sony is abandoning the Vita.
And the PS3 at this point.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what it sounds like. If they're shifting focus to it, then...
But this happened in 2007.
Yeah, this happened when the PS3 came out. And the PS2 still had titles coming out.
PS2, the last huge first-party PS2 title that I can think of that wasn't MLB The Show, which comes out every year, was God of War 2.
Yeah.
Which came out the spring after the launch of the PS3.
Well, that's because the PS3 wasn't selling well, and they still supported that market.
It wasn't like...
And the PS3 is still selling
like God of War 2 was a PS3 game, or started as a PS3 game. It was always a PS2 game.
Yeah, it happened to come out after the launch of the next console. So,
Little Big Planet 3 is also coming to the PS3. So,
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of that. But a lot of people were like, oh, the Vita's doomed, Sony's abandoning the Vita. I read a lot of... I spent $200 not on an accessory or a gamepad. I spent it on a portable system.
Yeah, and it is a portable system. It's a great portable system. It's a
great portable system. And the problem is, I think a lot of people are forgetting is that because of third parties, because of the indie development, and even because of some of Sony's first-party titles, between now and the end of the year, there are more games coming out for the PS Vita than there are for the 3DS.
Well, and they're
which everyone says the 3DS is a huge success.
Well, and it is a huge success, right? Like everybody,
not as big as the DS, but everything's relative.
Yeah, I mean the DS is whatever. But it's we as gamers in the US play a lot more games at home.
Yes.
Like the portable market just isn't as large as it is in Japan.
And in Japan, the Vita hasn't had its Monster Hunter yet.
No, and
I hope Freedom Wars is its Monster Hunter.
That would be cool.
Because Freedom Wars is a game I'm like, I want it now. I want it now so bad I can taste it.
Yep.
Because it fixed the one thing I hate about Monster Hunter, which is there's no verticality in Monster Hunter. So
it's all just linear.
I always feel like you're
running on a plane.
Yeah, you're fighting on basically a flat plane, and I'm always looking at a boss battle. But like,
I always want to go.
Freedom
well, if
Wars
I can get up here,
has this weird tendril thing that you use that you basically it's kind of like jet grind radio. Like everything in the environment you can land on.
Okay.
So you can use your tendril and land on it, or you can use your tendril and grab the monster. This is the other thing I love about.
Is it like a grappling hook type thing?
Basically.
Okay.
The other thing I hate about Monster Hunter is when I get the monster down to a low amount of health and he runs away, and then I stumble upon a monster that is much bigger and I cannot battle, so I lose the monster I'm hunting.
Oh.
In Freedom Wars, you can tendril these things,
and they won't run away.
Yeah, and you can actually like tendril them and pull them back and lock them in. So like if you and me and two other people are playing Freedom Wars and the monster starts to run away, we can have two guys tendril it and the other two guys
chain it and hold it, and then the other two guys take it out.
So Freedom Wars they talked a lot about, which looked really cool.
Yeah.
A big thing of the Vita at E3 was the second screen, the integration as a remote play.
Yeah,
which I still really love.
Yeah, I mean, now that I figured out why the remote play was so terrible at my house, it's great.
Yes,
because all I had to do was turn wireless in off.
Yes,
and it's fine. It works fantastically, and I'm so happy.
And the range. I mean, it's kind of like what I really liked about the Wii U was playing off the TV.
Yeah. Because, I mean, your house, and we've had this issue at your house before, like, the Wi-Fi in your house is kind of weird.
Because I have an old-ass house.
Yeah, and your router's here, your TV's over here.
Yes.
But, and it's the same issue with mine. Like, it's got to go through several walls, and it still works great. Like, I can sit in my bedroom and play on my Vita, no problem.
I mean, I played Killzone Shadowfall last night while my wife watched Bachelorette. I was on a different floor of my house, away from the router, and it played well enough that except those times when like the little icon comes up
and it's trying to get it loses the connection.
It loses the connection. And that little icon, I played it for an hour and a half, and that
came up like once or twice. And if you're fast enough, you can hit the
times.
Yeah. You can hit the start button,
the pause button to kind of get everything back into it.
Yeah.
Although the one thing I always do have to say is, and it's not because of the rendering issues or anything. It's just because of my bad luck as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that little icon always seem to like pop up like when you're trying to make a jump or like in the middle of a firefight?
Or you're trying to snipe a guy.
It's because that you only realize that it pops up. You only remember it because it F'd you up. But
yeah. No, I had that happen a lot when I was playing Tomb Raider on my Vita. I finished. In fact, I think I finished Tomb Raider on the Vita.
Yeah.
Versus playing it on the PS4.
The other big thing was PlayStation Now, which they're now into a different part of the open beta. So before E3, they were in...
It's not open yet. Like, you still have to get invited.
Yeah, it's still a closed beta. So the first invitation beta, the pre-E3 beta, you could stream whatever you want, but they only had, like, 6 games.
Yeah.
And, like, the only one worth streaming, everyone said, was Dead Island Riptide. So then, after E3, they moved into a second version of the closed beta, which you now have to buy things.
You have to pay real money to rent games in a beta.
Yes.
And the prices are kind of silly, right? Like, to play...
The prices are, like, on a weird sliding scale.
Well, okay,
like,
so, like,
there's, like, an area where I'm like, okay, $1 a day. I can see that.
Well, it wasn't even that.
But to get to $1 a day, you have to rent it for a week type thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, the one I remember was Guacamelee, right? Like, I saw the pricing scheme for that. To rent it for 4 hours, it was $4.
Yes.
And then there was, like...
But to rent it for a week, it was $7.
And to rent it for 90 days, it was $15.
Yes.
At that price, why don't you just buy the game?
Yes. Well, the one I remember was Final Fantasy 13-2, because everyone... Final Fantasy 13-2 was the game they're using to show off PlayStation Now for 2 reasons. One, that game is beautiful.
It's pretty.
It has a lot of shaders.
It does.
Really, when you see it, you're like, that looks good.
It's a pretty game.
Pretty game. And 2, it's a Final Fantasy game, so it doesn't really need, like, split-second reaction time. Which is like, I'm like, Sony, that's genius.
13 kind of did, and 13.3 kind of does.
Well, 13.2 also, but not like shooter.
Yeah.
Split section reaction time. You need to be able to select the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the problem with that is, and this is once again for 4 hours, it was like $4. Well, it wasn't. It was $3 for 4 hours. I'm trying to picture it because they have like little boxes.
Yeah. There was 4 steps. There was like basically the 1 hour trial thing that they have for free.
Yes.
Which I think they should do. I think they should just let you have the 1 hour trials of games for free. And then if you want to continue to play it, it brings up a little box and says, well, you can continue to play it at $4 for an hour, for 5 hours or whatever it is.
So, but at 7 days, at a week, it was $7. And I'm like, okay, and it makes sense why they're doing that because the
publishers have to get paid, right?
Yeah, the publishers have to get paid, and you want if someone's only going to jump into your game for 3 hours, you want to monetize that. And I can see why you kind of want to punish them for playing it so shortly. Yeah. Because that's where the majority of your money is going to be made.
Yeah.
Because most people will get into a game, maybe they don't like it, maybe they just want to try it out, blah, blah, blah.
Well, or
maybe it's Call of Duty, and it can be...
And you can beat it in 4 hours? Yeah. Well, and when you think about it,
But I think $7 for 7 days, $1 a day, that's a good price.
That's probably not too bad. That's less than what you would have paid at a Blockbuster or a Hollywood Video.
What?
A what? A video game rental place.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
I remember those. That's what this is trying to be.
We're not that young.
But no. I remember a lot of non-Best Buy and Hollywood Video places. In fact, there's still one up by my house. I don't know what the hell it has, but
I remember going into back rooms of just Nintendo cartridges. Anyway,
boxes, games.
But that $1 a day I think is a good price.
I just think it's weird that they're making you pay real money to test out their shit.
Yes.
And that bothers
is weird.
me.
But the reason they're doing it is that it works well enough that they're already monetizing it.
If the service works,
I think that's
great.
how they got better games on the service. Was they told the publishers, okay, we'll charge for it.
We'll charge for it, and then maybe they'll adjust the pricing schemes in a couple of months if they find out that people aren't paying for it.
People make a big issue about for 90 days of Final Fantasy II, it's $15 when you can probably go buy that at GameStop for $10. But yeah, that's true.
Actually, you could probably buy it on PSN for $10.
But you'll definitely beat it in those 90 days.
If you play it consistently, yes. If you're
not like me, where you play a Final Fantasy and then take a break and come back and take a break and come back. Although I did play Final Fantasy II in basically one run. Final Fantasy 13-2.
In a couple of days?
It was a couple of weeks. But
it was a solid run. That was the game that you were
another
playing.
Game.
Yeah. I know how that goes.
But, so, I can see where the 90-day option should be as much as the PSN download it directly to your hard drive. Because
that seems like a lot to me.
Most games can be beaten in 90 days. And that's really what you're paying for.
You can totally beat that game in 90
I'm going
days.
to beat this. Whether I keep it or not, I'm going to beat it.
Yeah. And really, if you buy the game at GameStop at, for $50, and then you turn around and take it back after you beat it in 4 weeks or 5
they're only going to give you
They're only going to give you half of what you paid for it anyway.
If they give you half.
If you're lucky. So it is that rental fee. It just saves you the trip to the store, I guess.
Yes.
But at the same time, I would prefer if I was going to do that.
There's still the rumor that they're kicking around a subscription, whereas it's like Netflix Instant. You'll
$25 a month or $20 a month.
Yeah.
Here you can
$20 a month. Here's the list of games, which that's really
rotating every month.
Yeah, that's really how this system should work.
That would probably be the best. But I think
they're just doing this other option to show publishers that yes, you can monetize it.
Yeah,
you can make money off of this.
I would like to see
because Square's not making money off of $10 13.2 at GameStop.
No,
because it's already been pre-owned.
It's already been bought.
They're not making their money off of that. But you show them that they can make money off of this person's renting it for 15 days so they can beat it, or 90 days so they can beat it. It's $15 that goes to you. Well, $10 that goes to you,
and then $5 that comes to us, or whatever the split is.
Yeah. And I think that has to be done on a sliding scale because obviously a game like Final Fantasy 13-2 takes longer to beat than a game like Guacamelee. So Guacamelee's option of $15 might only be a month because you'll definitely it's basically.
I'm pretty sure it was 90 days. I'm just saying. I know what you're saying, but I'm saying I'm pretty sure it was 90 days.
I'm just saying. Ideally, they should look at the game. How long does it take to beat this game?
Mm-hmm.
That should be the PSN price.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not stupid or if you play consistently.
Yeah. You could beat this game in X number of weeks or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, and really, I mean, I don't know.
And also, the thing I want this system, the thing I want PlayStation Now to do, they're not doing yet.
Yeah.
I want it to do PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 games.
Well, and you know, they're just rolling out the system, and they said, you know, we're going to do PS3 games first.
Those free PlayStation Now passes from that E3 PS4 app went quick.
Oh yeah,
every damn day.
Every day, boom, gone.
They were like, this will put more up at noon Pacific time. I would be there right at noon Pacific time. Hit the go button. Already gone. Like,
well, you got to think.
Damn it.
How many PS4s are there out in the wild? Like,
yes.
7, probably 8 or so million now.
Yes.
So
I do think it's weird that they're forcing you to buy the games for the beta. I can see why they are, to try to kind of show the
well, and then they said they
were
going to use the beta as a way to test their payment options. So if they see that more people are going with the $5 for 2 days or whatever it is option, then they might loosen it up and be like, all right, this is going to be like $3, and then $5 is the you know 6-day or 2-week option. Or
yes.
whatever. So,
I mean, ideally, what Andy wants out of PlayStation Now is eventually there's a subscription fee, and it covers all games from all PlayStation platforms. So even
I would say games. And this is me pipe dreaming, but if you paid $100 a year, you got Plus and a subscription to Now.
How much is Plus now?
$50 a year. So it'd be $50 a year for Now.
I would say, I was thinking about this the other day. If I could get it to be,
although it'll probably be more like
my
Amazon
PlayStation. Yeah, my PlayStation Plus subscription renews in like November.
Mm-hmm.
If I could get my PlayStation Now subscription to renew like in May, so it wasn't
every 6 months.
Yeah, so it wasn't hitting my pocketbook all at the same time.
Yeah.
I would say I would pay up to. Pipe Dream, the subscription service covers PlayStation 1, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3.
Well, it'll cover whatever they add to it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it covers all of it, but eventually they add all that things. So,
yeah.
like, I'll eventually be able to play Crysis 4 or, you know,
whatever.
Exit.
Yeah.
Or Crush. I'm trying to think of PSP games that I really like. If it covers all of those, I would pay $100 a year for it.
So you pay for another Prime subscription?
Yes.
Okay.
I imagine my wife would have a problem with that, which is why I would have to do the $50 in November, $100 in May type thing.
Or if you're smart about it, you just buy the cards around Christmas time. You get them on Black. Because I got mine for like $25 or $30.
I've never paid a full price for a PlayStation
PS Plus card. No.
But I'm also one of those people that like. It says $50. It is $50. It should no matter what you paid for it, it should give you $50 worth of value.
And it gives you a hell of a lot more than that.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Although it's changing. It's changing for July. It has changed now.
It's two games a platform now. I think.
Yeah.
Did they announce that?
Yeah. The Instant Game Collection is now 6 games, and it's 2 games
per platform per month.
It changes every month, so we're constantly shifting.
Which is, I think that's good because I mean, even though Resogun is a fine game, and I had a lot of fun with it, and they just updated that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I think having Resogun as the PS Plus game for the PS4 for like the
6
first
months.
5 months or whatever it was, that was kind of a long time.
Yeah.
But I've played a decent amount of Stick It to the Man. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That was free.
I played the first couple acts of that.
I think Trine 2 is also free right now,
Yeah,
and then there's that Pixel Junk shooter whatever.
I
So
played Pixel Junk Ultimate because I could play it on my PS Vita. And
it's back and forth. So that's fine. And honestly, it still winds up being a lot more games than that anyway, because if you consider, the Vita version and the PS3 version aren't considered the same thing, and you get them both.
When I sat down and thought the math of it out, you're actually getting more games in the long run, because if you buy a year subscription, the Instant Game Collection right now is 18 games. Okay, now if you buy a year subscription, and they have 6 new games a month.
Yeah, you're getting a lot more.
6 times 12 is?
A lot. 72.
Yes.
So, I should know this. I deal with RAM all day, and RAM is
Wait,
in
no,
8s.
it's not.
No, it's not.
It's 84.
It's 84?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, so you're getting 84 games a year versus the 18 games that you would get normally.
Well, yeah, because they had their standby 8, and then they would switch out like one a month.
One a month.
But, it's fine. Like, Plus is still, like, our favorite
Plus
thing.
is still, like, the best value in gaming. Doesn't matter that they changed it.
So now that we've talked about Sony for like 20 fucking minutes,
yes.
what the hell did Microsoft do after the show?
Microsoft.
Obviously, they talked more about Kinect.
They had more demos,
which is
obviously
great
because they were showing stuff that you could buy now.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they were showing a lot of Kinect integration. Kinect integration with Titanfall. They showed off Titanfall's new mode. They had Evolve at their booth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any Kinect integration with that beyond talkie.
Which that's fine because I don't know I always feel weird like yelling at my TV anyway, let alone yelling at my TV to actually do stuff. Like when things go wrong,
Xbox?
I yell at my TV.
Xbox.
Xbox, why don't you talk to me anymore?
Yeah, PlayStation will do that, and I used it once.
I don't use it.
I use it once.
I even have the camera and I don't.
PlayStation, Killzone Shadowfall, and it popped up.
And it popped up, and I was like, awesome.
But now I'm like, I don't want to put my headset on. If I don't have my headset on already, I don't use it.
Yeah, no.
I do want to get that camera. Eventually.
I have the camera. I don't use it much.
Can I buy it off you?
No, because I want to use it once more Move stuff comes out and whatnot. So
that new SingStar looks pimp using your cell phone.
That's so silly.
Oh, they showed off the new workout game from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
That I was interested in because I have to do physical therapy, and so I use the Wii for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I always hate is that it's always exercises. They're always like, do this, to tighten your core, blah 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 blah. The new Ubisoft game is like, do this to do push-ups to inflate a balloon, like a giant balloon.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
I was like,
I remember seeing that demo.
If you can gamify it, I would be more apt to do it.
Well, yeah, because I think the push-ups one that they showed was like after so many, they put a thing on your back.
Yeah.
And after you get some more, they just start putting stuff on your back with the Kinect, and that was really
cool,
kind of
really
neat.
Kinect.
I'm
that's what I want Kinect to do.
Yeah, that kind of silly stuff is really neat. And
for my workout now, I have to strap 2 sensors to me, and I have to hold the Wiimote, and I have to stand in a certain position and
Wiimote. There was some other game.
It's the cheap option. For
it is very cheap
for do the physical therapy.
There was some other game. I have no idea what it was called, and I'm sure if somebody watches this, they could tell me. Basically, it looks like it's a platform.
Oh, right? Yeah, the indie game where you're
you use
around your shadow.
Your shadow unveils different secrets in the level or stuff like that, and that seems really neat. That's a pretty cool use of Kinect, and it's a good way to get you out of your chair, and you're still playing a traditional style. Somebody is playing a traditional style game. Yes. I could see that playing a Lemmings style game too, where you have to make bridges.
If you're playing a Lemmings game and it's
I think that already exists.
I have a controller and I'm moving it around and everything and I'm doing my normal Lemmings game, but you can come in and scoop up the Lemmings and move them and
carry them around and be
awesome.
You guys come here, but oh no, there's a wall in the way. Andy, you need to blow this wall up.
Yes.
Or you have somebody in the background who acts like Godzilla and knocks stuff down.
Knock stuff down. It would be really fun.
That would be really, really cool.
But if you were playing a game like New Super Mario Brothers, and the fifth person was Bowser, and you could come in and grab parts of the level and take them away, and make them harder, or put in parts of the level.
Well, now you're just talking about that new Fable game.
No, they did show off more of the new Fable game, which the overriding sentiment seemed to be the person that is the dungeon master is the only person that will have fun.
Yeah, everybody else is just gonna be so pissed off.
When you're playing that game, make sure you play as the dungeon master.
You have to be the DM.
I'm trying to think of Nintendo. They showed more Splatoon. I like Splatoon.
I mean,
but once again, Splatoon's in a weird area of how much are you charging for it.
It looks like it's going to be a $60 game or a $50 game, whatever they're.
It was weird because once again, as much as people complain that there's no good exclusives for Microsoft or there's no good exclusives for Sony. The problem is there's no third-party multi-platform support with the Wii.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like it's not existent, but you're talking about Watch Dogs came out in May on the other platforms. It's coming out in December on
the
Wii. It just seems that the Nintendo library, both for the Wii and the 3DS, is not barren, but not as
prevalent
fruitful
as it is on the other systems.
So we missed a lot of stuff at E3.
Yeah,
but once again,
and we probably missed a whole bunch more.
Yeah, our previous videos were just really about their press conferences.
Yeah.
And we said in the Nintendo press conference video that they were playing a different game, so it was kind of hard to give them a grade.
Yeah, and they are. It seems like they still are. But hopefully they figure it out. They find a way to draw in third parties because that's really what they need.
I mean, everyone says
the first party support is the reason to own one of those systems.
Yes.
To own a Wii U is the first party.
But the third party is what you actually end up playing.
Yeah. And that's how they draw more games.
If you're going to buy a video game system, you always think about who has the best first-party exclusives, where my friends are, blah, blah, blah. But you do that assuming that the third-party stuff is going to be there anyway, that you're going to be able to play the Watch Dogs of the world and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
Creed-I. Something like that, yeah.
Trying to think of one that's not Ubisoft. And the Battlefields and...
Yeah, and the Call of Duties and things like that.
And the fact that that's not there on the Wii, I think, is hurting it, and I think that's going to
continue to hurt it.
Continue to hurt it. Everyone's like, oh, Smash Brothers is going to turn it around. It's already selling gangbusters with Mario Kart 8. I say no. That's not going to turn it around.
It's not going to turn around, but it is going to help.
That's going to help it get to 20 million units over its life cycle.
I think Nintendo's going to have to make a deal with a developer to go, hey, we need you to give us some exclusive content, like what Sony and Microsoft already do.
What we're going to talk about next show. There's a company out there that is now nebulous,
or will be shortly.
Yes,
and that makes me sad.
So, we'll see you next week. We're going to be talking about something different, something close to our hearts.
It makes me sad.
Yes, and hopefully no one's bought it by then, because that would be
really, really weird.
It would be horribly out of date. Okay, so we'll
see you guys later. Close the thing.
Okay, I gotta go back.